Hello, hello, and it's time for a Tuesday Instagram Live at 10. Yay! Welcome back to my Peacecraft Love Tuesday at 10. I don't know. Last week was 9:30 or 9 o'clock, and this week it's 9 or 10 or whatever. So we'll get started here in a minute. I think Instagram's telling me it wants me to wait until more people can join the live. But that's okay. You know what? I'm just going to make stuff. It's fun. Okay, so last week we were playing with purple because it is purple time this month. And we're playing with purple. And seriously, you saw all those purple things that I have, right? So I have so much purple to play with. And last week I created this lovely spread, not only using spray and ink and some texture paste with purple paint in it and through a stencil. So last week we just kind of slapping some paint on the page and making a background, and that was really fun. So I enjoyed doing that. I hope you enjoyed watching that last week. This week we're going to talk a little bit about my lovely favorite thing, focal points. I'm not very good at focal points, and I always say that. So I don't feel like I can really teach or instruct anything about focal points. But what I can tell you what I like to do and my go-to thing. And I also tell you that Dina Wakely has an entire Facebook, or she has an entire course, even though it's like about a 4-hour class. But she filmed live, but you can still join it and participate in it for after the fact and watch the videos. And I don't think it costs very much at all. Called The Composition Conundrum. And Kristen, I see you on there, and I'm glad you caught me live too. And I haven't ever painted with bubbles that I can think of. Maybe once with a kindergarten class. I don't really remember. Probably like in Vacation Bible School or something. But no, I haven't. But this kind of looks like that, doesn't it? Like when the paint bursts. But it's actually a stencil. This is the stencil I use. It looks like rocks, like a rock wall. We never really know that that's the kind of design you're going to get that it's going to, cover up. So the part that's covered is not the part that you're going to see. It's the part that's the lines in between. So it makes a really neat design. So Dina Wakely has a really awesome class called The Composition Conundrum. It's very awesome because it's so long and detailed. The bad part was I watched it when I wasn't really paying attention. So I need to go back and review it and learn more about how to have good composition. And I know one of the things that she mentioned was that people tend to put little groupings of things around their pages instead of putting one main grouping. And so I've tried to be better about putting one main grouping on my page instead of just smearing or putting lots of things around, and they're not really connected. So this is a stamp from a Dina Wakely set called Ledger Girls. It's a really fun stamp. And I just stamped it actually on a piece of old book paper. So I have a lot of pages from from books that I've pulled apart because they were falling apart. And so I wanted to reuse them. And some of the paper is actually like a chapter page or something where it's just a blank page. And that creamy color of that paper makes a really good background for stamping. So this is just Ledger Girl stamped on a piece of book paper. This is actually a paper bag. Piece of a paper bag, and the other night I was making some page parts for my artist trading cards, and I was pulling pieces out that were stamps to stamp on, and it was just these paper bags. And this one is also from Ledger Girls, I think. Yeah, and I like it. It's just it's kind of a long section. It's a big block of words. So I was struggling because it's way too big to go on my artist trading card. So I thought I would figure out a way to use it on my art journal instead. So if you already have your background done, and the other part that I like to do when I do my background is I like to just use my journals as what I call a mop-up journal. And almost all my journals are mop-up journals. It takes away the preciousness of a journal. I just have this book, and this book at one time was completely clean, beautiful, crisp, white cream pages like that one. I still have a few in here that are empty. And as I've worked on other projects, which is so funny because, you know, like with quilting, it's like, well, I have so many scraps. Well, how did you get so many scraps? Well, from making quilts. Well, you have to make quilts to make scraps. But the problem is that I never make quilts, so then I never have any scraps. So the problem is, like, how can you have pages for paint that you need to mop up? That's what this is literally for. Mopping up paint when you're not making pages in another book to do something. So it's kind of like, when do you do the mop-up pages when you're actually making things? Because, you know, does that make any sense? Like, it's like, which one came first, the mop-up pages or the actual the actual pages that you're working in? And then all my pages end up looking like background pages to mop-up pages. So what I was saying was I like to take the book. This one is all just mop-up pages, and I haven't actually done anything in it that's actually looks anything like an art journal. Actually, I think I did a page in here that was completely upside down. I totally had my book upside down when I was doing it. This one. It's just completely, the words are upside down. So I'm like, okay, that's okay. The book goes like this when it's on this page. I was playing with stencils on that page. I like to do times when I sit down and just play with my my gel plate, see what I can do with that, and then, or make some gel printing pages. I was thinking that part of the first thing I need to do probably for my February, for my, what is this, May challenge for purple, is to do some purple printed pages. Ooh, that's a lot of P's. Print some purple pages for my collage and using my gel press. So maybe in a few minutes we'll work on that once I'm done with this page. But last week I said, let me work on this some more in our next live. So I wanted to do that. I'm going to set my timer so I don't go too far, go too long. Okay, so to continue from last week, we were painting. This is spray. This is the very beautiful, very dark purple Deco Art Media spray. And I know a lot of people don't like spray because they feel like it's very messy. And I find that spray is difficult because not only is it messy, but it's also, depending on what kind of spray you're using, it might not work really well on an acrylic background. Like, I could be wrong, but and here's Mr. Whiskers. Say hi, Mr. Sears. There he is. He's coming over to inspect what's going on. I find that, like, the Distress spray and the Distress Oxide, those are made for applying directly to your paper. So not necessarily over additional background. Like, if you had a page like this one, this already has a lot of matte medium on it, and that's what I use to glue the book pages down. And then the acrylic spray that I used on here, it makes it very shiny and very glossy. And that actually, and it's also gloss spray, but even the matte wouldn't have, or the gloss medium, but even I don't think the matte medium would have worked as well for the tooth from the paper. Like, the oxide and the Distress stain, like, they really want to be put onto normal paper. They're not going to want to go onto something that's shiny. They're just not going to work on shiny. I've tried many times. But something like this one, this is an acrylic spray. It's water-based, but it's acrylic. That's a shimmer. Or like the Dina Wakley Media spray. This is an acrylic spray. So it is made for going over everything, on top of things. It's made to sit on top of it and be there. Okay, so it's not going to hurt it if it's on top of something that's already kind of slick or shiny. Versus the oxide spray and the Distress spray are just going to sit there, and they'll probably never soak in, and they'll probably never really dry, and they won't work. And then if you get them wet again with some other media by accident, or if you go to collage something over the top, you'll end up with a big purple glop because it'll just keep reactivating with water. So that's why I like these kind of sprays that are acrylic kind of spray, so that they don't reactivate with water. And when I spray them, I actually hold it very close to the page. Here, I'll actually just do it. This one's a little lighter. I've learned to just kind of hold it really. Okay, I have to get my cat. He's right here. Come on, Mr. Whiskers, get down. Go over to your spot. Okay, I couldn't spray when he was sitting there because it's gonna get wet, get sprayed on. Okay, so I would just hold it up next to the page and then do a little squirt like that. And then see what happens when it kind of, I don't really like the big splatter effect. I like the drippy effect of the spray. Okay. And you can add some water to it. Just make sure that you have something nearby to wipe your, wipe it off so that it doesn't dry up and mess up the sprayer. Okay. So there we go. A little bit of spray. And of course now it's wet and now I can't glue anything to it, but that's okay. And then what I might do is, because I might be impatient and I don't want to use my heat gun, I might just go get my mop-up journal and kind of make them, I guess you could say they're kind of kissing each other. And then you get some interesting effect from doing that, right? Can you see that? Yee. You could also flip the page over and just smush it. Okay. And then, so there you go. That's kind of the nice part about those gloss sprays and the acrylic spray. They'll go on, they'll dry, and they'll dry very quickly, usually. Okay, so back to focal points. Okay, so this is how I'm going to do mine. I'm just going to do, like I probably could have done like this because there's a little bit more room on that side. And you don't necessarily want it to just be dead center on the page. That's the other part. Because that can just, it kind of throws off your eye. So now this will be kind of dead center. We can just, actually, let's put it up a little farther up. Yeah, like that, right? I like that. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to, I had this, and this, I used this up, so I'm just using the bottle again. This is actually what's in there. It's soft gloss gel. And I think, I mean, honestly, I feel like gloss gels are just gloss gels. Matte gels are the same thing. It's matte medium, matte gel, medium. So I'm just gonna, I put it in here because it's easier to dispense, in my opinion, if it's in a bottle versus in a container. And it makes me mad because so many companies out there, that's how they, that's how they all have them in those in these jars. And I'm just like, no, I don't want it in a jar. Give it to me in a bottle. But it's hard to find bottles. I've been looking because I don't have any matte medium other than the multi-matte medium, this one. I have this one, but it's very thick and I like using it for a little bit different applications. If I'm just collaging something down, I don't necessarily want, trying really hard to not get it all over my fingers. That will never happen though. I will always get it all over my fingers no matter what I do. So if I had sprayed this with oxide or stain, I believe I would, or anything water-based like that, it would completely reactivate and then I would be scraping purple all over my paper. But because what I used was acrylic, it's not really going to, it won't reactivate. Not to say that I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if there was a little bit of a purple anything on it, to be honest, but that's me and some people don't like that. All right, so I'm just putting more matte medium over the top, or sorry, gel gloss medium over the top here. And then put that over to the side. It does have a little bit of a purple look to it, probably because that gloss spray wasn't quite dry. But the nice part is I stamped this with archival ink, Ranger Archival, and then I heat set it with my heat gun. And once it's heat set, then you can throw all kinds of wet media over the top of it and it won't do anything. And as you push it with the palette knife, it's pushing the paper into the background. And it's getting the bubbles out, which is nice. Okay. So I'm going to set that one aside. To dry. And then let's play with the gel plate a little bit. This is completely not planned, so, you know, here, bear with me. So this is my 5x7 gel press, okay? And I have these in the store, definitely have these. And I have this size, I have 3x5, I have an 8x10 also. I like all of them. I like to use the little one as a palette when I'm working on the medium or the big one. It just depends on what size paper you want to print on. I've heard save the plastic, don't save the plastic to put on it. I actually recut a piece of plastic to go, I think, on my bigger size one just because. So I like having the extra plastic on there, but you don't have to. The one on the back, I actually wrote the word back on it. So I know, for whatever reason, because it's double-sided, it doesn't matter. But, you know, for some reason, I just like having that so that I know that that side goes down. And then I think I did that on my big one, too. I don't think I did that on the little one. My plastic on here is actually quite messy. And would probably make some cool art. So I didn't write back on this one. But, so what I found was I got these Liquitex Florescent, which I have in the store. I bought a set for myself because I want to play with them. And because Tiff from Southern Gal Designs was talking about the Amsterdam acrylic called, what is this one called? Reflex Rose, which is like a hot pink. And I couldn't get it. I can't get Amsterdam right now for the store. So I bought some ink at a art supply store nearby my local one. But let me get some paper to press on. Let's see. So this is like that book that I was talking about that I have, that I just ripped all the pages out a bit. And obviously I so planned all of this because you can tell I have everything ready to go. So we're just going to do some blue. I did not plan any of this, by the way. We're going to do some pink. Woo, that's pretty. I'm hoping if I blend them together, maybe I'll get a purple. I have no idea. What do you guys think? What we get? Purple? So some people will they'll put the paint directly on the press, and some will do it off to the side or do it on a smaller palette or something like that. So we can do a lot of different things. We can grab a stencil. Just so happens I have a Dean & Wakely stencil right here. We can do a pull over it. We can just do something like this. I like to take another brayer, and it's going to move a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit crooked, but see, like that? Oh man, the thing about gel press plate printing is that you have to have space for where to put the things to dry. So these are just going to go on the floor. But so you've already printed that one, and then you pull this up, and this has some ink on it or paint on it. And so I will probably just go over to a page in my mop-up journal. If I can't find one, I'll go to another page, and I'll just plop it down. But I have to move stuff. Obviously, I was so prepared for doing this today. I'm just putting it on another page in another book. And then here's like the image I got from the ink that was, or the paint that was still on here, and I just put it on there. And so that'll be another page. Now, where do I put the stencil? Okay, put that there. Now, there's still a whole bunch of paint still on here. So we're going to do another one. Like this. Oh no, I think my timer stopped. Nope. Timer didn't stop. We still have 15 minutes. So, all right. So then there's some, that's the back, that's the part of the stencil that was down and pushed the paint around. So we get kind of a negative of the stencil. Okay. So that's fun. All this will probably be torn up and ripped up in future collages. So collage backgrounds. So it's not like I want to make something that I'm going to just absolutely be in love with the paper, because I'm going to probably tear it up. And I realized that there's kind of two levels of collage papers. There's collage papers that you would use for a background that you probably just cover up with paint. And then there's collage papers that you might want to use as the top, like the picture of the girl or some of the Dina Wakley tissues, right? So those kind of things you're going to use, and you're going to use them to where you can, where people can see them. So those might be something that you care more about what they look like. But for these, I'm just playing with trying to mix some paints together and see what kind of stuff I get. I mean, this fluorescent is really fun. It's called Fluorescent Pink. Wow, really, really original name there. Liquitex. And because there's so much stuff still on my palette, there's a possibility that that will come up when I'm printing, which will be kind of fun. Oh, and the best paper, I think, for that, let me see if I can get it to do it. And a lot of times, since there's so much more paint on here, I'll just roll that off onto my mop-up journal, and then that's how you get kind of this, because this is watercolor paper, you get kind of an interesting effect with the texture on there. Okay, let me see what else I can use to print. Okay, so I have plain old copy paper, and this is all just from my store. I have, every day I do a pick list to pull items for my store, so you'll see that on the top here. And then I won't print on top of the words. Let's see if it pulls anything up. I might have to get a different paint to pull up some layers. Aha, pulled a little bit of grungy layers. Okay, that's an interesting pull. See, there's all the grungy bits. Grungy bits, yay. Okay. A lot of times people will use white to do that, because the only paint that really came up was the paint that was flat on the gel on the plate. And then the part that had the kind of grungy bits didn't pull as much. That's going to get covered up by the stuff that's underneath. What it will really look like is closer to that, because that's what's on the face of it. You're just using the fluorescent or the whatever paint you're using to as like a glue to pull up the paint, if that makes any sense. So All right, so what color should we do? A blue now? Let's do a blue just for fun. Let's just do this to pull up some grungy bits. It works better for some reason. I think it works better on copy paper. I don't think it works as well on book paper, but maybe it does. We can try it. I don't know why the copy paper does it better, but it shouldn't matter, but it seems to. Okay. And then in a minute, we'll do purple. I'm going to do it as I'm going to lay it sideways so that now I get kind of a cross effect, crisscross effect. Maybe if I do this, it'll help pull up some of those grungy bits. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions and I'll try to answer them as we go. Ooh, here's the blue and here's some of those grungies, and we got some purple because we've got some overlapping, I think. And also there's maybe some purple in there. That's so fun. I'm just going to keep going. Try the ink's not going to do anything. It's going to be too thin. So let's do a fluorescent red. Maybe that would have made more of a purpley color with the blue. I don't know. We'll find out. To me, that looks orange, but there's also a fluorescent orange in there. So, and you can get all these colors, this whole set. I have a few more of them in the store. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. Here in Houston, you kind of have to work fast when you're doing gel printing because the paint dries so fast. And if you want it to dry, that's good, right? But it's not always a good thing. I don't always want it to dry. Interesting. Okay, the red and the blue kind of made a nice muddy color. Okay, so I think I want to go back to pink. But we're cleaning off the gel plate in the same process. Okay, so let's try one. Let's try blue. It's always my favorite. You can use any paint for this. It doesn't have to be fluorescent paint. This is fluorescent blue, but any acrylic works. Even if you just have some apple barrel acrylic paint from wherever, the 99-cent paint, anything will really work. Okay, let's try it on a piece of book paper and see if we get any grungy bits or we just get the blue. Even if we get the blue, we'll have an interesting design. Yeah, it didn't pull up the grungy bits as much. It did a little bit there. See? Isn't that interesting how that would pull so differently if it was book paper, if it was copy paper? Because it really would. It pulled up the paint a lot easier on the book paper. We'll do the exact same thing. We'll do it on book paper, on copy paper. I promise you it'll be different. Not that one. This is the Dina Wakley brayer. No, I think it's, yeah, or Ink Essentials. I can't remember. I have both of them in the store. They're both the same. This one's just purple. The Dina Wakley's is purple. But it doesn't matter because after a little while, it's not going to be purple anymore. And I don't ever try to clean it. I know people have, but I don't ever try to. All right. Brand new clean sheet of paper. Remember, this is an experiment to show us the same way, show us how differently it pulls on copy paper than it does on book paper. And I have no clue why that would be, but okay, it pulled up more grungy bits. Grungy bits, yay. I need like a grungy bits dance. Let's try green. I mean, these are pretty. I don't think, I mean, the pink is definitely fluorescent. I don't find that the blue is really all that fluorescent, though. Maybe it's just hard for blue to be fluorescent. This is a fun color. I think this would be fun for, like, it makes me think of Halloween. Slime. All right. I should have been more scientific about how many times I rolled with the roller, right? Maybe it was because I was rolling more. See, that one seemed to pull up more paint and less grungy bits, but there's still some. I like the overlap. I'm gonna try yellow. Because why not? Why not try all of them, right? If you want me to try stencils again, let me know, and I'll do stencils. I'm having a lot of fun with this, though, and it's cleaning off my plate, so. I find that to be fun. Oh, the yellow is quite fluorescent when you put it onto paper. It comes out very, very fluorescent. All right, let's see here. Maybe we want to do it like this. Oh, we'll just do it at a diagonal. Because we can. Because the Candyman can. Okay, who's seen the iPhone commercial with the Candyman song from Willy Wonka? And it's purple. It's so awesome. I'm so on trend because iPhone decided that they would have a purple phone. Woohoo! For being on trend. All right. So, it's hard to see how many grungy bits we got, but I got some yellow and the blue make almost the same color green, which is fun, right? And then we've got a little bit of yellow there. Fun, 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 fun. Okay. All right, let's do blue and pink again to make it purple. Maybe this will be the last one. See, it's already going to be a purple, which is really cool, with a little bit of pink in there and a little bit of streaks of blue. Do you like my singing? Okay. Book paper. Clean off that gel plate. Oh, and I want to show you something really cool too. I use these labels. I use, sticky labels, right? They're on a roll. They're like stickers, but they're like 4x6 size, which is about the same size as this gel plate. Ooh, that's pretty. And, oh yeah, that's so cool. I like that a lot. And, I like the green. That was really cool. Okay, let's do one more pink and blue, because that was so fun, how it came out grungy. Maybe we'll do a blue and green, too, because I like seeing them, like, smushed together. So, I forgot what I was saying. Purple. Maybe this will be all purple. Let's see her. Ooh, let's see. Oh yeah, so I have these sticky paper, and I print my labels for my shipping labels. and that's fine. Sometimes it gets messed up, and that happens. So if it gets messed up, I don't throw it away. I just, well, that's kind of fun. That little skin came off there. So, and I like this overlap. Gives you a little bit darker purple. So I don't throw the stickers away. I keep them even if they're messed up, so that I can reuse them as labels that I can print on. Because sometimes my little label printer will give me extras. It will. And then what's cool is it's like making my own stickers. Okay, we were going to try blue and green. So, yeah, a lot of times I don't even really use, I don't use my gel press this way. I actually will use it to, I try to use things like, trash, like IKEA, the packing material inside of the IKEA boxes is perfect because it's this cool hexagon shape. Have you guys seen that before? And you'll start looking at cardboard in a whole new way once you've done gel plate printing a couple times. All right, this is completely free of purple paint because we don't really want the purple and the blue and the green to mix. So we're gonna do a smear of the blue and the green. Okay. And because I have this one that didn't really look all that exciting, I'm gonna clean off my brayer on that. And it's kind of a neat overlap. Can you see that? Okay. So here is a little bit of, a couple of, here's that label paper. It comes on a roll. Mine was kind of crammed in the box. I have a whole drawer that's just print on me, kind of, that's what it's called. And then I might take this and I'm just gonna treat it like a little stamp, and I'm just gonna go through and do that. I could even come over here and press that off like a stamp. You can't even see what it did, but I had a little bit of paint on there and I pressed that off over there. All right, this is our last one. So I'm gonna put this one up here. Actually, like that. And then I'm going to take another piece of paper, maybe this one that has a little bit of yellow extra on it. I'm just going to pull off the edge piece, and then we're going to pull, oops. So now we have this. See the design that the packaging made on there? A cool kind of green and blue, which is really fun. The green is not as fluorescent on this white. I guess the yellow is very bright. The green's not quite as bright. And then there we have it. We pretty much have a clean gel plate now. There's only a little bit of blue and green right there in the middle. So I could probably actually go back with another piece of paper if I really wanted to. But sometimes I like to just leave that extra paint leave any extra paint on there and just leave it for next time. So there we we did this one. This is a sticker. I can die cut that or just, fussy cut it or just take it off and throw it on the paper. I don't have to glue it down. I can just stick it down. I have greens and blues and yellows that I did. Some pinks and blues, fluorescent pink and blue that made purple with the grungy bits from the plate. Here's just a blue. here's Fluorescent Pink and Blue, and one called Fluorescent Red. And then here's my mop-up journal that I used to clean up my brayer every time in between pulls. I was using that to clean up my brayer, and I actually used it with the stencil the very first time. And then my little warm-up pieces with the stencil were these guys, this is actually the blue and the pink mixed together, just on the plate, just brayered on the plate, and it made this nice purple design. So that's all the pieces that I got in about a 20 to 30 minute time span. And they're pretty much all dry now, because acrylic, well, at least here in Houston, acrylic dries very, very quickly. And I also, this is all dry now too. So I did this one earlier when I first started, so more purple. So, that blue book page. Yeah, this one. No, yeah, just the page. Yeah, that was really cool, right? This one. It's nice. And it's fun because you can just, when I go back to collage that, I'll just tear it up and then I can collage that down. And I've already got blue, a blue accent that I can add. So I did that when I was playing with my yellow paint last month. And I did a whole bunch of pages that I just did some pulls of yellow, playing with my different yellows as I was doing swatches for them. So I'll probably do the same thing with the purples. I was thinking I needed to do that because I wanted to have some purple to play with this month. Anyway, so I have a lot of pretty purples. These that are the metalliques from Finnabair are really, really pretty and fun to play with. This is a really pretty dark purple that we call Midnight Sky. It's almost a blue. It's like probably closer to like an indigo, but it's kind of iridescent. It's really, really pretty. And then, I have a lot of other fun things that I can play with. And I really do want to play with the sprays some more, especially the stain and the oxide, just to see what else I can figure out how to do with it. So purple is my focus this month, but it doesn't mean that I won't be playing with the new Distress ink color Salvage Patina, because I love that color, and I have all of the things now, so I bought them for myself so I could play with them. So yeah, we will be playing with those again some other Tuesday this month probably. All right, so thank you so much for all of you who joined me today, and I hope that if you didn't join me that you can watch me on my YouTube replay, and thank you, and I'll catch it again next Tuesday or on Friday at around 9 o'clock on Facebook. So thank you so much. See you later.